I've studied over 1,000 plumbing businesses and recently sold mine for $5 million, and there's 6 mistakes that stop most plumbing business owners from making money. Number 1, they price by the hour instead of pricing by the outcome. 67% of homeowners prefer flat rate pricing over hourly pricing, and 9 out of 10 homeowners don't understand hourly labor rates and assume they're being overcharged. If you send 2 guys to the same job and one is slow and number 2 is fast, and you charge by the hour, the bill for the slow guy is going to be super expensive, and the bill for the fast guy is going to be cheaper. From the homeowner's perspective, if you sent this guy out, that's not fair to the homeowner because you could have sent this guy out and their bill would have been less. And from the contractor's perspective, if you send the fast guy out, you're going to make less money, so you would rather have all slow guys and make more money on every single job. Charging by the hour just literally does not make sense. Instead, what you want to do is figure out how much of your time you actually bill out throughout the year and then charge on a flat rate price. Okay, so what that actually looks like is you would go to the home and you would figure out how many hours it's going to take, what the materials are going to cost, and you would multiply your hours by your rate or your hourly rate, and you would multiply your materials by your markup, and then you would add those two together to get a final price. And the price would be presented to the customer as, here's what you get, here's all the details of what you get, and here is the price to get that thing up there. That way there's no question about how long it's going to take. They don't feel like they're getting screwed over. As long as you provide this outcome for the price that you agreed on, then everybody will be on the same page. This is a much better way to price your services and to charge the homeowner. Number 2, they worry about what their competition charges. 63% of customers don't pick the cheapest plumber, they pick the one that feels more professional. And to be professional, you're going to have to be slightly more expensive. And the real fact of the matter is that 96% of plumbing businesses aren't profitable. So when you worry about your competition being cheaper than you, you're worrying about people who aren't even running a profitable business. So what I recommend altogether is that you completely quit thinking about what your competition charges and start focusing on what you need to charge to run your business. It should be a matter of expenses, time available that you have to bill out, and then a profit margin. So you should be able to take all of your expenses, divide them by how much time you have available, and then that's going to give you your expense rate, and then add a 30% profit margin to that, and forget about all the other businesses out there. Charge what you need to charge to be profitable at the end of the day. And if you can do that and maintain being professional, then you've got 63% of homeowners' business because you're more professional than the guys who can't afford to be professional. Number 3, they're scared to let go of control. Businesses where the owner delegates grow 112% faster than businesses where the owner does everything. And the reality is the business owner trying to do everything is gonna get capped out with how much they can produce. And they'll never be able to produce more than that. And I get it, it can be scary hiring people to do things for you, and they're never gonna do it as good as you can. And it's honestly super scary. So when I hired my first CSR, customer service representative, I was answering all the phone calls, I was running the schedule, I was booking all the jobs, and then I was going and doing the work, creating the invoices, following up on the estimates, the whole 9 yards. And I was scared crapless to hire a CSR. I'd never hired anybody before. But what ends up happening is that you get to delegate some of the responsibilities that you're currently doing to another person. And if you can learn to delegate well and give them a process and a procedure to do their job with, and you hire the right person, then letting go of that control and hiring people to do tasks within your business is complete freedom. So here's how I lay it out for most plumbing business owners. Down here, if you just think of a simple org chart for your business, just 4 boxes to start with. If you have technicians and you have CSRs and you have a general manager and you have the owner, in the beginning, you're going to wear all of these hats. And the first hat that you want to take off is this CSR hat. You can hire somebody to answer your phones, run your schedule, and do follow-up calls. And that's going to save you a bunch of time to be able to go be a better technician. Being a better technician is going to allow you to bring in way more revenue, a lot more revenue than what this CSR costs you. Once you've got the CSR hat off, the next thing that you got to do is get this technician hat off, okay? Once you hire 3 technicians, those 3 technicians should be able to bring in enough revenue for you to move into the general manager seat and have 3 technicians producing revenue. After that, you want to get rid of this GM hat. In order to do that, the business needs to bring in enough revenue to be able to pay the technicians, the CSR, a GM, and an owner and still make net profit. So you need to get to 6 or 7 technicians before you have enough revenue to be able to hire this GM. Once you hire this GM, the GM can run all of the technicians and the CSRs and the day-to-day business tasks, and all you need to do are owner things. This is what I did in my last company, and I did this with 2 hours a week of work. That's why I started this YouTube channel. I got bored. So I'd have a 2-hour Zoom meeting with my general manager once a week, and that's all I did for the company. Everything else got handled by everybody else down here. Now, if I'd been scared to let go of control of my company all the way along the way, then I never would have been able to get to the point where I made $1 million a year only working 2 hours a week. Number 4, they underpay their employees. The trades have a 36% annual turnover rate, one of the highest in all industries. And companies that pay above market wages see 25% productivity increase and a 50% lower turnover. Replacing a technician costs 30 to 50% of their annual salary in lost productivity and recruiting. So what I always recommend is that you pay your technicians top dollar, okay? We don't have a labor shortage in this country. We have a shortage of business owners willing to pay what the job is worth. If we went out and we paid all of our technicians $1 million an hour, we would have no labor shortage. Now, obviously we can't do that, but what we can do is we can pay our employees really well and set up some sort of performance incentive for them to be productive. What I like to do is pay guys $5 over the normal wage in my area, okay? So if normal plumber wage was $30, I'm gonna pay them $35 an hour. And then we like to give them a weekly bonus incentive, okay? So we know on our P&L, we wanna keep labor rates at 20% or less, direct labor rates. At $35 an hour, if this employee produces $7,500 in revenue, his labor costs me 20% of the revenue that he produced. So what we do is we pay them 10% commission or bonus, however you want to call that, on anything over $7,500 in revenue for the week. So if they did $8,500 in revenue, they get a $100 bonus on their paycheck. This is how you can pay employees extremely well and pay them based on performance, have lower turnover in your company, and honestly have lower labor rates than most people. Number 5, they have no systems or processes in place. Companies using standardized processes reduce operational mistakes by 30 to 50%, which increases profit. And in the trades, it's really hard to be profitable without a dedicated process from start to finish. So even if you pay your employees well, you get rid of the fear of hiring somebody else, you then need to bring that person in and you need to set expectations clearly. So all the details of what their job is, what time they need to show up to work, what their pay is, what the holidays are, all the expectations that you expect out of them, we put this in what's called an employee agreement. And it's the highlights of their job, okay? When they first get hired, we run them through this employee agreement and we make them sign their name down at the bottom. One thing that we like to include on this expectation list is at the very bottom, we have some verbiage that says these expectations or this employee agreement will change When it does, we will notify you and we'll sign a new agreement. We've had a lot of employees that we hired over the years that signed an employee agreement, got used to one way of doing things, and then whenever we tried to go change something, said, that's not the agreement I signed. So we started putting that at the bottom of the agreement. The next thing that you need to do once they have like outlined expectation of what their job duties are, is you need to make a list of every single thing that those people do, okay? So for like a CSR, they have to answer the phone, they have to run the schedule, and they have to, let's say, respond to reviews. After that, you want to write an SOP, so a standard operating procedure for each and every one of these tasks that your CSR is going to have to do. So you would write this in a Google Doc, you can use ChatGPT, and then you can create a video, like a Loom video on your computer of how you want the phone answered, how you want the schedule ran, and how you want them to respond to reviews. And then you need to hold your people accountable to answering the phone the way you want it answered, to running the schedule the way you want it scheduled, responding to reviews the way you want them to respond to reviews. If you don't have expectations and clear SOPs in place, you're gonna have a chaotic business and your profits are going to suffer and your culture is gonna go to hell. Number 6, they don't understand their P&L. 82% of small businesses fail because of cash flow or financial mismanagement, not lack of customers. Contractors who review financials monthly grow 25% faster and are 2 times more profitable. And there's no excuse for not understanding your P&L. It's actually really basic. So at the very top, you have revenue that is 100% of the cash that you bring into your business. So money coming in gets recorded as revenue. Under that, you have your COGS. COGS in a plumbing service company should be labor, materials, and subcontractors. Underneath that, you should have gross profit. A good gross profit for a plumbing company is 55%, depending on what you include in your labor cost up here in your COGS, okay? So that means that your COGS can be 45% of the total revenue. So we take the revenue and we subtract out the labor, the materials, and the subs, and that's what gives us the money that's left over, the gross profit. After that, we subtract out what's called overhead. Those are all the other expenses in your business besides labor, material, and subcontractors. You should be running anywhere from 30 to 35% overhead. That will leave you a net profit of 20 to 25%. Those are healthy net profits. So when you guys pull your P&L and you get a view of it, you should be looking at it in 2 manners. You should be looking at percentages just like we did today, and you should know exactly what gross profit you need to hit in order to be left with 20 to 25% net at the end of the day. And you should know what to do to raise that gross profit if it needs to go up. You should know what to do if you need to lower your COGS. And you should also be looking at all of your overhead expenses and keeping those as low as possible. That's the gist of a basic P&L. And if you don't understand it at a deeper level, there's thousands of resources that you can get on how to read a P&L accurately. Now, the second caveat to a P&L is that you need to have a bookkeeper that is putting the proper items in the COGS. A lot of bookkeepers don't know how to run a P&L for a plumbing service company, specifically putting the labor, the field labor, the technician labor in the COGS and then splitting the office labor into the overhead. They don't understand that concept for some reason. So find a bookkeeper that is used to working with plumbing companies so that this can be done proper, so you can look at this every month. It's like the report card for your business. You have to understand it. If you like this video and you want more information like that, join the Wealthy Plumber School group. Link is in the description down below.